What's up guys, this is Ozzy from Versus.com, and today we're going to be comparing the cameras of these two flagship phones, the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max and Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. We want to show you some aspects of these cameras such as the widescreen, portrait mode and slow-mo features amongst others, just so you can get a better understanding of how these cameras work. Now let's cut to the chase and let the facts speak. Firstly, let's take a look at the ultra-wide setting. Both photos look pretty similar, but the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max looks more detailed and sharp than the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra when we take a look at the stones and the dirt on the ground. Both cameras have their ups and downs with the ultra-wide setting, but in our opinion, the iPhone seems to be one step ahead. In the regular setting, which is the wide camera, the advantage of the iPhone over the Galaxy seems to increase. The details have increased and become even more stable in the iPhone, but the Galaxy is still having issues with giving us a detailed image of the gate and the buildings. Moving on to the 3x zoom, the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max is really starting to shine with regard to detail and color. Everything from the sky to the pillars has retained its natural color, and the details ingrained in the Brandenburg Tor are even sharper and more detailed than usual. Max zoom is rarely used with mobile phones, but you never know, you might need it someday. The Galaxy looks to be ahead with less static and livelier colors, but there isn't too much of a difference in quality overall. Stabilization in videos is something that is rated highly by many that enjoy shooting videos on the go. There is definitely an improvement in the quality of the video when compared to the predecessors of the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max in terms of color and unwanted blurring. Unfortunately, as soon as I speed up, the camera has issues in tracking me and starts spiraling out of control. The camera of the Galaxy, on the other hand, is better at tracking me, but there is obvious blurring and loss of focus when I start running instead of jogging. We also added in a small test of the autofocus by ducking in and out of the camera's vision. The iPhone unsurprisingly continues to be victorious when it comes to autofocus testing and picks up my face and body as soon as I come back into view. The Galaxy, on the other hand, needs a couple of seconds to focus and is not able to show the same quick reactions as the iPhone. Lastly, here's a slow motion video. There's plenty of leaves to go around this time of year, so let's give it a shot. Honestly, I can't see much difference between the two phones here, except that the Samsung looks to be a little darker than the Apple. Check out the color of the leaves and the trees behind me and see if it gives you a clearer perspective of the results from the two devices. Alright, so before we make the transition from the video to the photography mode, we want to show you a crucial part of smartphone videography, which is the front camera. Right now, what you're seeing is the front camera, video, and audio quality of these two flagship phones, the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Without further ado, let's see which of these two competitors shoots the best pictures. Time for some pictures with these gorgeous flagship phones. There's going to be a lot to compare in these photos, so let's get down to it. The Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max has cooler colors compared to the warmer ones on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra in portrait mode. Detail-wise, I would say that both phones did a top-notch job. The bokeh effect is quite decent as well, with the Samsungs being a tiny bit fuzzier than the Apples. As we've gotten used to, there's a slightly higher contrast in the photo made by the Galaxy. While we believe that both photos are quite high in quality, we also believe that there is a preference factor involved when it comes down to the details. Which one do you guys think is more to your liking? Now, let's throw in some portrait selfies to see how these devices hold up. Honestly, both phones did a great job when it came down to close-up pictures. Besides the contrast, we don't really see much difference in the quality. The software has done a great job in separating my hair and jacket from the trees and leaves in the background. Whether you prefer a slightly cooler or warmer color is completely up to you. Some gorgeous sights from the rooftop are coming up. Weather conditions are not the best, but both cameras have done a good job in terms of quality and also capturing the atmosphere in the ultra-wide setting. Even though this is the case, the iPhone has done a better job at capturing the small details with an adequate usage of sharpness, such as the windows on the buildings and the textures of the patterns on the ground. Now, on to the main camera. Some top-notch photography here as both photos look divine. The Samsung seems to have upped its game when compared to the photo taken in the ultra-wide setting. When we zoom into the building, we can see that both of them look quite similar and detailed, with slight contrast differences. The 3x zoom looks great in both photos. The signature Apple sharpness is slightly visible, but other than that, both cameras have done a good job at capturing all the details. Magnifying the clock yields no differences, as both photos are of similar quality. The 10x zoom, on the other hand, definitely yields some interesting results with visible differences between the two images. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra seems to come out on top compared to the Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max with its lively colors and attention to detail. The iPhone, for some reason, has less color and the building looks quite dull overall. Max zoom has a distance difference, as you can see with the two photos side by side. To bring them both to the same level for comparison, we had to crop in the image of the iPhone. The Galaxy once again looks to be more effective in this comparison with its emphasis on detail while zooming. The image from the iPhone is too blurry to make out. Lastly, the macro mode. Both phones have done a decent job, and we don't think there are serious differences or quality issues with this mode for either device. Now it's time for some nighttime photos. We're going to be starting off with a portrait mode photo comparison at night. The photo taken with the iPhone has a bit more detail and better lighting than the Galaxy, with the focus being on my facial features. My jacket also looks slightly more detailed and bright, and the blurred windows in the background are less shaky when it comes to the iPhone. The second portrait mode photo is similar to the first one with regard to the lighting and details. The photo from the Galaxy S21 Ultra is a bit on the darker side. However, the color of the background looks more natural when compared to the yellow tint that the iPhone 13 Pro Max has. The blurred lights in the background on the iPhone are easier on the eyes, like in the first picture, whereas the ones on the Galaxy look a bit fuzzy. This is a photo taken in the portrait selfie mode, and I must say that the Galaxy's camera looks amazing. At first glance, we thought that there was an effect that was turned on by accident, but the photo was still this clear even after turning off the skin smoothness setting. We also checked if anything else was turned on, but it seemed that nothing was. The Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max's photo looks quite natural and as good as it can be expected during the night, but the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra's photo is something else. The background being a bit too dim or bright can be left up to the preference of the user on whichever one he or she likes. On to the main camera. There's a slightly yellow tint on the Pro Max, which we believe is because of a different white balance setting. The S21 has managed to capture the true colors of the building and the white lights inside. The tree also looks slightly more detailed, while the iPhone has an issue with the brightness and textures. The next photos are quite similar across both phones, with the Apple software coming slightly on top with proper sharpening and better focus, especially close to the top of the church. The sharpening also helps with maximizing the detail and the separation of similar colors. The ultrawide setting is one that has major differences across the two devices. The iPhone illuminates the church quite successfully, but the background leaves a lot to be desired in terms of detail and brightness. The Galaxy, on the other hand, has issues with differentiating between the colors of the church, but manages the background much better than the iPhone. The biggest difference is the lighting on the stairs, where on the iPhone it is almost too dark to see. Making a video on the ultrawide setting didn't yield the best results, which is of course not surprising in these lighting conditions. Even then, the Galaxy looks slightly better with the color management and brightness, even though it has to blow up the colors more than usual. The main camera shows us pretty much the same results, but because of there being many lights in this video, the iPhone's lack of brightness could be an advantage in these situations. The Mercedes logo is sharper, and the lights in the offices look more natural with the processing of Apple's software. The extra brightness and tint of the Samsung is an issue when shooting in an environment that is full of artificial lighting. In conclusion, both these flagship phones are quite high quality when it comes to their photography. Some aspects of the iPhone were better than the Galaxy and vice versa, but the iPhone's photos look slightly sharper and more detailed overall. The Galaxy definitely sticks out when zooming in because of its optical zoom compared to the digital zoom of the iPhone. All in all, both of them are quite successful when taking pictures in any setting. If you guys like our videos and want to support us, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment for us below. Take care, see you next time.